Does your virtual assistant know your name? I see a lot of head nods, yes. Siri calls me Emery, not Anne Marie, whether I say it or someone else says it. I'm starting to feel as if I have an alternate identity because even voicemail messages and texts come through with that other name. It would be nice to hear my name pronounced the way it was meant to sound. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, how to make that happen. Welcome to Keeping Communication Top of Mind, where each episode we focus on one small habit that creates lasting impact on how you speak, connect, and lead. I'm Anne Marie Strauss. I'm the founder of iSpeak Clearly, and I'm glad you're here. Today's one habit is say the name like it matters. Why do you think it does matter? If you have a reason why it's important to say the name with importance, type it in the chat. I see. It makes people feel seen, builds relationships, shows respect. Yes, all valuable reasons to say a name like it matters. The thing is, first impressions are formed quickly, and names, the way we say our name or the way we say the names of others that we're speaking with, are usually the first things that we hear. So we don't choose our names initially, can choose, though, how we say them with intentionality. And when you say your name clearly and confidently, it does all those things that you put in the chat. It shows respect. It it makes you personable, right? So right away you're building a connection. It makes the people that you're with feel seen. And it conveys your confidence also. Has your name ever been mispronounced or misunderstood? Shake your head, yes or no. Think about it. Okay. How does that feel when that happens? If you could type a word into the chat, how that makes you feel when your name is misunderstood or mispronounced. Sometimes it can be frustrating, right, and can make you feel not seen if it happens frequently with someone you see often. Some people, I see Donna says she's used to her name being mispronounced, but it still doesn't feel right. Yeah. And some people don't mind if it's the first meeting, but if it consistently happens, then it's different. Yes, a good point. I'm going to delve into that a little as we go forward. Thank you for your responses. Our names are attention grabbing, and how we say them influences that impression that people are getting of us right from the beginning. And how you say someone else's name influences if they feel noticed, if they feel value, if they feel respected, just as we talked about already. The research shows that our brains prioritize our name because it's part of our identity. In fact, even in a noisy environment, if someone says your name, your brain will pop out and hear that. So saying your name with intent is a crucial component of being in the business environment, where one of the key components for connection is to build likability, build trust, build relationships. And it starts with the name. Here's a question for you. Does anyone have trouble remembering names? Just nod a yes or a no. Okay. Do you ever say, I'm terrible remembering names? You don't have to nod, but you could think about it. Okay. I'm guilty of it too, sometimes. But when we do this, we're putting the responsibility on the person we're with to forgive us for not remembering their name, it's subconsciously inferring that it's not that important. And whatever we're there to say takes precedence. So let's change the narrative. Rather than saying, I'm terrible at remembering names, let's try, I would like to remember your name. Could you help me pronounce it? Try saying that in your own space, saying it out loud. And if you're not sure about how you're saying the name, I would like to make sure I say your name correctly. Would you say it again for me, please? So asking for that repetition, showing the effort that you're trying, and then you have the reverse feeling on the other end because they see that you're making their name a priority and it's not from lack of wanting to that you are able to do that. So now let's get to the fun part and why we're here. How to say your name and other names like they matter. Well, we've all been saying our names since we first began to speak. If you can remember when you were a toddler or a time you're with toddlers who are just learning to talk, adults are always asking them, what's your name? What's your name? Think about if you've ever done that with a new speaker. The estimates are that over the course of our lives, we say our name thousands of times. So I'd like to share with you a technique that I've been using for years. It's called the 7-step name fame. And it's a technique so that when you say your name or someone else's, it is said with clarity and confidence. Let's do this together. And as I'm going to walk through it, I'm going to demonstrate it first, and then we'll do it together. So these are the 7 steps, and they incorporate your communication cue: hear, understand, engage. Step 1, say your first name with the rising inflection. Anne Marie. Now I have 2 first names, so I say each one with the rising inflection. Anne Marie. Then I pause, and I say my first name again. Anne Marie, I pause again, Strauss. The falling inflection for your last name indicates certainty. It's the period at the end of your sentence. Without a falling inflection, it could sound like you don't know who you are. If I said my name is Anne Marie Strauss, I lose credibility right away. And I invite you to build your awareness on how other people introduce themselves and other people, because it's not uncommon that you may hear that. Oftentimes it reflects a level of nervousness or uncertainty. But by being aware of it, and practicing, you can ensure that you're saying your last name with that falling inflection. So, okay, so now that was step 6. Step 5, rather. Step 6 is a part of your communication cue to engage the people you're with. While you're saying your name, you're going to make eye contact and a positive facial expression, usually a smile. Although in some situations, a smile may not be appropriate, most of the time, that's the facial expression that is going to build likability and trust with the people that you're with. And finally, step 7, finish strong. Use adequate volume and sustain that volume. Another observation you may make when you're out and about in networking and social events is often an individual will introduce themselves or their companies, and they'll start off at a good volume, but then that volume diminishes. And as the volume diminishes, oftentimes the body language goes with it, and the listener's trust or certainty in what you're saying, your confidence level in their perception diminishes too. So I'll demonstrate that also. Anne Anne Marie Anne Marie Strauss. I speak clearly. In some networking events, I've even seen people, as they're saying those last parts, not only does their head go down, but they start to sit down if they were standing. So things to be aware of. If you want to exude that executive presence and confidence about yourself and your organization, be aware of how you're saying the name. Finish strong with sustained volume and vocal energy. So give your voice that energy that shows the person you're interested in speaking with them. Okay, so let's do this together now in your space. In your space, you're going to do the slightly rising inflection to say your first name. Step 2, pause. Step 3, say your first name again, rising inflection. Pause. Step 4, say your last name with the falling inflection. And now make a look at eye contact, smile, and consider the volume that you're using. Are you sustaining that volume? Okay, try it again, starting with your first name, or say a friend's name. Rising inflection, pause, saying your name again, rising inflection, pause. That by using the rising inflection, we're creating openness. It lets the listener know that there's more to come. When you repeat your first name, you're giving your listener another opportunity to remember your name, so they don't have to ask you to repeat it. And I call that the James Bond effect. For those of you not familiar, James Bond, he repeated his last name twice, but the impact was the same. Bond. James Bond. Give it a try and see what you think. It may feel awkward at first. And then, of course, your last name with a falling inflection and certainty, that gives you the credibility that you are hoping to convey with sustained volume, eye contact, and a smile. And you're all set to make that positive impression in the next networking event that you attend, or social event, or speaking event when you're representing yourself, your organization, your company. And that's the other thing. It's not just for your own name, your company's name, products even. So I could do, I speak clearly. I like to eat corn flakes. Corn flakes? No, cornflakes. And my favorite thing to have for dessert is chocolate ice cream. Not chocolate ice cream. Do you hear the difference? Be aware of the speaking components in yourself and in others as you listen to people being introduced and introducing themselves. So this week's practice is to use the 7-step name fame to say your name, a friend or a colleague's name, and your company and organization's name. See how it feels. See if there is a reaction to the people that you're speaking with based on how you are pronouncing and using your introductions with this technique. I'd be happy to hear how your experience went. I would look forward to any feedback regarding what observations you make in some of these situations and how those feelings arise for you when you change your strategy a little bit. So don't rush. Say each name like it matters, because it does. Thank you for spending your time here with me today. I truly appreciate it. Keep communication top of mind. Smiles.